Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hashtag Pastor Besties here. And last week, we had an episode on how do we carry one another's stories? How do we hold things in sacred trust?
Burdens. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's lots of scripture passages that talk about this.
Yeah.
When we talked about this, we were naming like 27 million of them. So there's lots of passages that talk about community and bearing one another's burdens. And we sort of were drawn to the story of Ruth and Naomi.
Because it's just such a great story.
Beautiful.
A beautiful story.
Oh, it's a beautiful story about these two women together and their journey together. And there's also so many little funny things that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Mahlon and Chilion are Naomi's sons. Do you know what their names mean? Weak and sickly. So funny, because they die.
Okay.
Hilarious, right?
Hilarious.
And so, like, there's these little pieces, too, within the story of Ruth and Naomi that it's like, it's such a good story.
It is.
So good.
But the part we wanted to talk a little bit about today is at the very beginning in the first chapter, you know, Naomi's husband dies, her sons die, and she has two daughters-in-law. And she releases them. And she says, go back to your people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going back to my people. You go back to your people. And her daughter-in-law, Orpah, says, deuces, I'm going.
Right.
Because what else would she do? Like, she needed a husband to survive.
Completely understandable.
So she went back with her people. But the other daughter-in-law, whose name is Ruth, did not.
Yeah, in Ruth chapter 1, verse 16, after this conversation has happened, Ruth replied, don't urge me to abandon you, to turn back from following after you. Wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.
God, I get like weepy thinking about it because it's such a beautiful piece of the story. And, you know, Ruth, in that moment, she chooses to bear the story with Naomi, to bear the burden, to stick with her, to be by her side, to live a life that's going to be way harder than if she went back to her people and got remarried to one of the men from her tribe.
And Naomi tries to be like, no, seriously, go. Please. And Ruth is like, nope.
No, you're my people now.
Anywhere.
Yeah, you're my people.
And so it's this way that Ruth carries Naomi through this part of the story together. And so I also love as the story continues. So then they get to Bethlehem, and when they get there, like Naomi's people are like, "Oh, isn't that Naomi? Like, hey, Naomi, what's up?" And she's like, "No, call me Mara, because the Lord has dealt bitterly with me." Do you know what Mara means?
Bitter.
Call me bitter. And then it says, and so Naomi returned, and then Ruth comes. And so it's like, she's there.
She's walking alongside.
She's with her, helping to find healing and wholeness and how to live this new life that they're both living as widows together now.
I love it.
Yeah. And as the story continues, like, they help each other. They help things to figure things out. They found their kinsman and their kinsman redeemer, and then they have a baby. And spoiler alert. And do you know Ruth?
This is happy.
The lineage of Jesus.
That's right. Thanks, Ruth, for holding it down and helping bring the Messiah to us.
Right. So, I mean, like, really bearing the story.
Right.
And bringing it to full circle and fruition.
So good.
Yeah. So I hope that you have a Ruth to your Naomi.
Yeah.
Or maybe you are the Ruth to someone's Naomi.
That's right.
Maybe you're the one who's bearing the story. Or maybe you're the one who has someone who's bearing your story. I hope that you have that community.
So important.
Yes.
Well, maybe comment below about how you have experienced community like that in your life and how it has changed you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.